Hey guys, my name is Olga and welcome back to my channel. And today we are gonna try and discuss this beautiful palette from Makeup by Mara. I finally decided to take it. I took it on sales and I don't regret buying it. You're gonna see swatches, free makeup looks, including wear test, of course. And then we are gonna discuss it and compare it to some other eyeshadow palettes. Ready, steady, go! First look, and today I want to try mainly dark story, and I don't want to do smoky eyes, quite dark smoky eyes, and I will do my best for trying these 5 shades. As a main shade, at the beginning I'm gonna try this one, and as the darker shade, of course, I'm gonna use the black one. This shade actually is a little bit kind of shimmery, at least it seems like, and I'm gonna use it for blending this one a little bit. This beauty, dark gray, kind of dark black gray, I'm gonna use on the lower lid a little bit, and this one I wanna apply as a main topper on the eyelid. And we should use something for blending everything into skin, and probably I will use this beautiful shade. That's the plan at least, and we're gonna start from the blue one, dark blue. It's quite pigmented and it's a little bit dusty, so bear in mind. On this side I'm gonna use an eyeshadow primer. On this side I'm not gonna use anything. So ready, steady, go. Starting from, I'm gonna apply it till the middle. Well, this shade is quite pigmented actually. Quite pigmented. Gonna add a little bit more and gonna add a little bit closer to the outer corner and a little bit on the lower lid. You know what? It seems that it's a little bit patchy. At least it seems like, and it's... but I think that it might be blendable. So, moving a little bit on the lower lid. I hope that this shade doesn't stain. I hope so. Now, let's try this beautiful, slightly gray shade. Well, it's gray. It's just simply gray. It's a little bit dusty, so tap of extra, and I want to apply it till the crease over, and gonna use it for blending the blue one. So applying slightly over, blending the edges and applying till the crease. These two look quite fine and they are blendable. So at least I can blend them together, that's great. Blending and again applying a little bit to the outer corner. And as well, what's left on my brush, applying on the lower lid. As a crease shade, I'm gonna use this one and grabbing it on a medium-sized brush and gonna use it right now directly in the crease for blending the edges. And I'm gonna use it for blending everything into skin. But for now, I should mix it with the gray shade. Time to grab a big fluffy brush. And I'm gonna mix this shade with this one a little bit. This one is more like a satin. Matte eyeshadows are quite dusty. Tap of extra. And I'm gonna use this mix for blending everything into skin, because I don't wanna have any harsh lines. So blending everything. I'm gonna use the same mix for blending the edge right here. Time for black, and I'm gonna start from the black eyeliner, and I'm gonna add it near the lash line and in the waterline. And of course I'm gonna blend it. and gonna apply the darkest, the black shade from the palette over. For blending this black one with the blue, dark blue. Applying in the waterline and blending edges. I shouldn't keep it as it is. Don't forget to blend, especially near the lash line. Let's add a bit more black. Grabbing this beautiful black from the palette, it's a little bit dusty as well, and applying it near the lash line and blending it to the dark blue. Same thing with a lower lid. If you want to, you can stop right now, but I want to try shimmers, and I'm gonna start from this darkest metallic shade. I'm gonna add a little bit of it on the lower lid under the pupil. But actually I like fully matte looks, and this one looks great. I'm gonna add a little bit right here. Just a little bit, and kind of blending it into the darker shades. Oh, it looks kind of lovely. And you know what? It contains a bit of dark blue as well. Lovely, beautiful. Now, topper time. Of course, I'm gonna use this beautiful dark topper for checking it. I'm gonna grab on a flat brush. I'm gonna start applying it from the center, of course. Oh my gosh, it looks so great. And what's left on my brush, applying over the crease, a little bit above, a little bit. Finished look, and I like it. Of course, it's fully cool tone, it's expected, because today I used mainly gray shades, black, blue, so yeah, it's quite expected. And I used today false lashes, because we have quite bright look, and without false lashes, this look wouldn't look, wouldn't look finished, actually. So yeah. What I'm wearing currently on lips. I'm wearing this lip liner from Huda Beauty in shade Warm Brown, and this product from Tarte Lip Plump in shade Mixed Berries. What I wanted to tell you. I used today 6 eyeshadows, and actually I think that this beautiful topper could be a great choice as well, because it contains purple and pink shimmers, and if you apply it over this story, it would look perfectly. I don't know, maybe I will do one extra look. We'll see, because I want to try it over these beautiful shades. It must look beautiful. This guy is definitely great. It's a star today. It's a beautiful topper, doesn't have visible base, looks great. It's fully cool tone. Well, there is a little bit of golden here, but I would say cold golden shimmers. What I don't really like about this palette and these palettes from Mario in overall, they are quite dusty. Let's be honest, they are dusty. But it's so easy to work with them, and it's so easy to blend them. And despite the fact that this guy is a little bit patchy, especially if you apply it at the beginning, it's blendable. And when you mix it with some other shades, it looks great, actually. So, kind of. Matte eyeshadows are pigmented, it's easy to blend them, it's easy to work with them, but yes, they are quite dusty. This beautiful guy is quite lovely as well. It's a basic metallic, but it seems quite nice, and it reminds me of metallic from the other palette, from Makeup by Maria. I think it's the same formula. Yeah, kind of. Oh, by the way, this beautiful gray shade contains a bit of pink, and that's why you can easily mix it with this one. And you can use this shade for blending this gray shade into skin, because we can't really blend gray shades into skin. We should have a transition shade, unless you're gonna have a little bit dirty look, just in case, bear in mind. So I do like this look. It reminds me a little bit 19th, I would say, just simply the color story, of course. And yeah, looks lovely. So yeah, of course, I used on this side an eyeshadow primer, and now I'm gonna show you makeup look closely, and we're gonna see each other in the evening. I have my makeup on around 11 hours, and now we're gonna check everything out. As a reminder, here I used an eyeshadow primer and everything looks so perfectly and great. So quite lovely. On this side I haven't used anything and everything looks great actually. No issues, and I like this look. And I like these beautiful toppers, these shimmers, they are so lovely, so great. Oh yeah. Impressed, like it. Time for the second look, and today I'm gonna try this beautiful brown story, and I wanna draw a black wing as well. So I'm gonna start from the darkest shade today and I'm gonna apply it in the outer corner. This shade I'm gonna use as a crease shade, and these two guys I will apply on the lid. Why not? Grabbing the darkest shade. It's quite, let's say, cool tone, and it seems like it contains a bit of olive. So starting from the outer corner. And yes, it's quite pigmented. Blending it slightly out. And moving it till the crease. Now let's try to add this beautiful shade to the crease. And I'm gonna use it for blending the darker shade. It's so dusty. It's so dusty. The shade is quite interesting, and again, it's fully cold. And this beautiful light shade I'm gonna use for blending everything into skin, and as well I will apply it in the inner corner. It's not that dusty. Woohoo! So grabbing it on a big fluffy brush and blending the edge right here. And now let's add these beautiful toppers. Gonna start from the darkest one, and I'm gonna add it closer to the outer corner. Let's take a look. Beautiful, and again cool tone. What's left, applying over the crease, changing the side, and now let's try this beautiful topper. I'm gonna add it closer to the inner corner. This one is more neutral. Wow, great. In the inner corner, let's add this beautiful light shade. Starting from the inner corner, and what's left, applying on the lower lid. Moving fully to the lower lid, and starting again from the darker shade. I'm gonna add it to the outer corner. Till the pupil. And gonna blend the edge a little bit. Medium shade I'm gonna use as a transition shade right here. Well, don't really like here. To gray. Near the lash line, I'm gonna add black eyeliner from Kiko Milano. And let's draw a wing, black wing. In the waterline, I'm gonna add slightly light pink shade. The look is finished, and I decided to not wear today false lashes, just simply used a mascara. So, let me share some thoughts. Of course, this look is quite cold. It's really cold, and I would say that I used only one neutral shade today, and this one. It's more like neutral champagne with a bit of golden. This one actually is quite cold as well. This one is cold, but this one is colder. This shade looks kind of gray, I would say. Yes, it's a mix of brown with gray, but the main shade is gray actually. I like this look, but I can't really say that I'm a big fan of such cool tone looks. But it's funny, time to time, makes sense doing them. But of course, in my case, for instance, I should do a look, a full look. And by the way, let me tell you what I'm wearing currently on lips. Lip liner from Colourpop in shade Ash Tone. Lipstick from L'Oreal in shade 102, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and a lip gloss from Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. And I decided to use a cool tone lip liner because of the eye makeup look. Actually, at the beginning, I applied more warm tone and it looked horrible. So bear in mind that you should kind of combine everything and for having something funny and lovely. Now I'm gonna show you makeup look closely and we are gonna see each other in the evening. So I have my makeup on around 12 hours and now we're gonna check it out. On this side I used an eyeshadow primer and everything looks perfectly. On this side I haven't used, and yeah, eyeshadows may crease a little bit but not badly, and shimmers, they look lovely. Great. Then for the last look, and only one shade is left, and it should be Star. And I want to apply this beauty in the center today, and I want to combine it with the dark blue shade. Because this shade, this beautiful shade, contains light green, a light blue, and a bit of purple. And they both should look nicely together. So we're gonna start from dark blue again, grabbing it on a small brush. Tap of extra, and I'm gonna add it in the inner corner and in the outer corner as well, starting from the outer corner and drawing kind of a wing, adding it and moving it slightly out. And of course I'm gonna use the black shade today as well, and adding it in the inner corner as well, blending edges a little bit. And in the center, let's add this beautiful white shade. It's gonna be at the base for today. And I'm gonna use probably this shade for blending edges a little bit because it's kind of gray brown. And gonna add it right here, kind of gonna blend this edge a little bit. Maybe it's way too gray. Okay, anyway, we'll keep it. Gonna add the black one, adding it in the inner corner and in the outer corner as well, and blending this shade into the previous one. Let's add this beautiful topper, and of course I'm gonna start from the center right here. Oh yes, it's great, beautiful. And moving it slightly out. Looks beautiful. Moving to the lower lid, and again I'm gonna start from the dark blue, adding it to the outer corner, and actually I'm gonna fully add it right here, and blending the edge a little bit using gray brown shade. Near the lash line I'm gonna add black eyeliner, and as well I want to draw kind of a wing here, a line here. And don't forget to blend the edge. I'm gonna use a small brush for doing it, or I will apply black eyeshadows, but for now I wanna draw a base. I'm kind of continue this line and connect it to the lower lid. So it's not like a basic inner line, not really. In the waterline, adding bright blue, shade from Gouache, back to black again, adding it to the outer corner and a little bit near the lash line right here. Final look is done and I'm quite happy with it. At least I like the way it looks like, and yeah, these shades, they look so beautifully together, and I do like this beautiful topper. It's so lovely, so great. Let me tell you what I'm wearing currently on lips. As a lip liner, Natasha Denona in shade Natasha, lipstick from L'Oreal in shade 102, and a lip gloss from Charlotte Tilbury in shade Pillow Talk. My thoughts. This palette is quite lovely, especially if you like cool story looks. It's fully cold, we don't really have any neutral shades here. All shades are cold. Maybe this beautiful topper, kind of neutral, and that's it. Matte eyeshadows are cold, all cold. Even this beautiful brownie shade, it's a little bit cold, and well, still, why not? Why not? It looks lovely. I'm a big fan of these beautiful toppers. They are so beautiful, they are so great, and they look gorgeous on eyelid and they don't emphasize anything. So yes, everything seems quite lovely and quite great. And of course, on this side, I used an eyeshadow primer for checking everything. Looks lovely. I like it. So now I'm gonna show you makeup look closely and we will see each other in the evening. I have my makeup on around 10 hours and let's check everything out. Unfortunately, this side doesn't look that nice today. This side where I used an eyeshadow primer, it looks perfectly, no issues. But here, da-da-dum, dum-dum-dum. So yes, eyeshadows can easily crease. It's fine, it may happen time to time. But I still like this eyeshadow palette. I think it looks lovely and this look is beautiful. Time to discuss everything, and before we start, I took not only this palette from Mario on sales, but as well I took this palette from Charlotte Tilbury on sales. And I paid for it around 45 euro, and for 45 euro, actually it's okay. I'm gonna film, well, actually I'm filming a review for this palette as well. I've already done with 2 looks, one is left. I have some thoughts. From the quality point of view, this palette is okay, except one shade. But from the color story, I'm not a big fan of this palette. That's why I didn't want to buy it for a full price. Talking about Mario, I didn't want to buy it for a full price as well, because I can't really say that I use cool tone palettes quite often. Actually, not really. And if we talk about cool tone palettes, they look perfectly, they look great if you have pale skin, or if you have, for instance, light skin, cold undertone, sometimes neutral, but it depends. It really depends. I have quite many, I would say, neutral, not really neutral, cool tone palettes, but I don't really wear them. I bought them because I was filming reviews in Russia for a while, and people from Eastern Europe, they like cool tone palettes because quite many people have light skin and, for instance, cold undertone, but not all, of course not all. and you should choose shades depending on your skin tone and undertone, and as well depending on your preferences, of course. Time to talk. Time to talk. This palette is made in the USA. Full price is 75 euro, a little bit actually less, 74.95. Currently, it's still possible to find it on sales, and on sales it costs 60 euro. We have 10 grams here and 12 beautiful shades. This palette is more cool tone. We don't have any neutral shades here. Well, probably this shade is more or less neutral, and that's it. If we talk about matte eyeshadows, they are cool tone. All cool tone. And actually it was one of the reasons why I didn't want to buy this palette at the beginning, because I understood that I won't be able to use it daily, because in my case it would look more gray. It's fine, it may work, but for me it means that I have to do a look. But sometimes I might be quite lazy to do a look. Still, this palette is quite lovely. First of all, let's talk about the quality, and then we're gonna compare. From the wearing point of view, it's okay. It's okay. Matte eyeshadows, they behave lovely, they don't fade while wearing. Sparkles, unfortunately, they may crease because they are quite creamy, and it is expected, but it's not bad. It's not bad, it could be worse. And if you want to be sure that everything stays in place, use an eyeshadow primer or liquid eyeshadows, and everything should be fine, and this palette would behave perfectly, no issues. Matte eyeshadows, I like them from the quality point, well, not the way I wanted to say. Matte eyeshadows are pigmented. They are pigmented. They are quite creamy. But if we talk about this shade, it's a little bit drier than others. So if we compare them, what I don't really like about these matte eyeshadows, they are dusty. They are quite dusty, and you have to be careful while working with them. And don't forget to tap off extra before applying, because otherwise you may have issues in the under eye area. So please be careful. But they are so great from the blending point of view. It's so easy to blend these eyeshadows. It's so easy to blend this blue eyeshadow. It might be, by the way, this shade, the only one that might be a little bit patchy, so be careful with it, but you can blend it with other shades and it won't be patchy at all, especially if you blend it with this beautiful gray shade. Others are great. So if you don't like dusty eyeshadows, you probably may not like this palette, because it is dusty. It is quite dusty. Talking about metallics, we have one metallic shade here, beautiful basic metallic. It's quite creamy, it looks lovely, and it doesn't emphasize skin texture because the texture itself is quite thin and silky. And if you have this palette from Mariam, this one, oh, it was quite close. So if you have this palette from Mario, this shade is more or less the same. The only thing that here we have extra glitters, here we have a basic metallic shade. Toppers, beautiful, beautiful toppers, my beloved formula. It's this one from this palette. And here we have 4 shades in this formula, and it's one of the best formula I've ever tried. Currently, if we talk about Natasha Denona, she has more or less similar formula to this one. I like such toppers, they are great. They are quite bright and they look lovely on eyelid. They don't emphasize skin texture. You can easily apply all these shades with brushes, no need to use fingers. And as well, this formula, it reminds me a little bit Urban Decay, actually, quite similar. Like it, love it. From the quality, I don't really have any questions. Color story. It's a full cool tone palette. Matte eyeshadows are cool tone. Toppers, only this topper is a little bit more neutral, but still it contains a bit of, I would say, something cool tone. But yeah, it's a kind of golden, cold golden shade, if you know what I mean. So it's not yellow. It's not yellow at all. Now let's quickly discuss all shades, and we are gonna start from this one. Beautiful, beautiful dark black shade. And you can definitely see that this shade is black, and it seems like it's even a little bit pink, or not pink, blue. And if you combine these two, oh my gosh, it looks so lovely and so yummy. And last look I did, you know what? It reminds me a little bit the palette from Natasha Denona Xenon palette. Slightly similar color story, but not exactly the same. If we compare Xenon and Maria, fully different shades, fully different products, but these two guys, they remind me a little bit Xenon from Natasha Denona. Beautiful dark blue shade. Cool tone. Super cool tone. Looks lovely, but a little bit, as a reminder, it's a little bit dry. This shade, it is a mix of, again, cold golden with a bit of bronze, I would say, and with a bit of gray. Not even a bit. It has quite many gray silver shimmers, so great. Beautiful brown. If you think that it's neutral, it's not neutral. It's still a little bit cool tone. It contains a bit of gray and even a little bit of olive. Just a little bit, but it's visible on eyelid. At least in my case, it was visible. Looks great, and it seems that this shade is a little bit brown, or you know what, currently on camera it looks more gray, and it's true. And it's really true, because it's more gray. In my case, it looks more gray than beige. It is a mix of light brown, kind of beige, with gray. Main shade is gray. If you have cold undertone, if you have light skin, it's a beautiful crease shade in your case. If you have warm undertone, this shade would appear more gray in your case, as it was for me. When I started to blend it, I was like, wow, it looks gray. It looks just simply gray. It's expected. Color theory, guys, it's expected. Beautiful light beige shade, fully neutral, looks great, and it's a little bit shimmer. You know what? Actually, I would say that it's more satin than matte. Next one. Oh my gosh, this shade is so lovely and great. It is a mix of light blue, light green, and a bit of purple. This shade is so beautiful, so lovely, and it works so great with this blue story. I like it. This one, as I already told you, cold golden, if you know what I mean. So it's not yellow golden. No, it's not yellow. Looks lovely, looks great, and it seems that it contains a bit of silver glitters, but not that many. This one is more, again, cool tone. It is a mix of brown, light brown, I would say. Again, bronze, a bit of bronze, and cold bronze. Just in case, and silver. Beautiful. It looks so lovely, and it would look so great with gray and brown story. Great, but it's not a classical gray. Some gray shades might be with a bit of pink, some gray shades might be with a bit of blue. This one contains blue, so it's a really cool tone. Next one, it's a kind of dark gray. Dark gray, it's close to light black, but still not light black. It's like, it looks a little bit wet, actually, on eyelid, and lovely shade, and works perfectly with this beautiful dark black and blue shades. If you think that this shade is pink, you're wrong, and currently on camera it looks quite correctly. Not exactly. It looks really cool tone, and it is cool tone. It is a mix of pink and gray. In my case, again, it looks more gray. If you have cold undertone, in your case, it would look more pink. And in your case, it would be a great, beautiful crease shade. If you have light medium skin tone, or medium skin tone, or even darker, this shade would look gray in your case as well. Same thing here. Bear in mind, be careful. But this shade is quite lovely, and you know what? It seems like it contains even a little bit of purple. If you want to try this palette from Maria, and if you have this palette from Maria, you know what you can expect. Because from the quality point of view, these two palettes are more or less the same, especially matte eyeshadows. Here, matte eyeshadows are quite dusty but super pigmented, and it's so easy to work with them. Same thing here. Now we are gonna talk about similar shades I could find, but unfortunately, if we talk about these beautiful toppers, I don't have any dupes, any, because this formula is quite unique. You can find something familiar from Natasha Denona or from Urban Decay. If we talk about more affordable makeup products, I'm so sorry. This formula currently is not available on drugstore side. Unfortunately, for now, probably we'll have to wait year, two, I don't know, but we have to wait. And this formula is quite unique for high-end, currently at least. If you want to try something similar that would look more or less similar on eyelid, as an option you can try Glam Shop. They have beautiful pressed pigments. As an option, Bernovich, both brands you can find and you can order from Poland. And as an option, Carl Cosmetics, I think, but it's quite pricey. That's the thing. So today we are gonna discuss, and I'm gonna show you mainly matte eyeshadows and quite similar color stories. If you want to try a palette that would look more or less similar from the color story point of view to Maria, I can suggest probably this palette from Colourpop, because we have slightly pink, slightly brown transition shades here. We have beautiful gray shade here, and we have brown shade here. So there are some shades which look quite similar, and by the way, we are gonna swatch them and I'm gonna show you them quite closely as well. So this one is gonna be the closest from the color story point of view as an option as well. Again, Colourpop. This well-known palette, it's quite big, but you have everything here. It's called Stone Cold. Look at it. Beautiful cool tone palette. We have beautiful transition shades which are a little bit gray and which are brown, and as well we have several pink beautiful transition shades as an option as well. Why not? Of course, it's not, Colourpop is not that pigmented as Mara, and by the way, it's dusty as well. But still, it is an option if you want to save a little bit. And moreover, we have a beautiful black shade here. It's quite pigmented, guys, and it's quite lovely. Now, let's do some swatches side by side, and we are gonna start from... Let's start from these two beautiful shades, because I think that quite many people are gonna be interested in these two shades, because it's not that easy to find a beautiful crease shade which is cool tone and which is a little bit brown or a little bit pink. Let's start from pink. And of course, I'm gonna do everything side by side, but I should take it off, I think. So, original version, and here we have Mara. Probably I should add a little bit more. You're gonna see quite close swatches anyway. If you wonder about this palette from Huda Beauty, they're not the same, a little bit different color story. Here we have more, I would say, we have really beautiful brown and pink story. Here we have more, I would say, pink story. And the closest shade is this one. It's called High Life. Is it the same? No, it's not the same. If you wonder about this gray shade, it is a mix of pink and gray. Here we have a mix of gray and blue. Still, I'm gonna show you swatches when we move to gray. So, take a look. This shade is more purple if we compare these two. This one is kind of contains more even brown and more gray. Next palette is gonna be from Colourpop, and actually we are gonna swatch mainly Colourpop. That's taupe, well-known palette, and we have a beautiful crease pink shade here. Is it gonna be the same? Not really. So let me do it like this. Still not exactly the same. This one is more, contains more brown, I would say. Here we have still more gray. Next palette is gonna be from Colourpop 1111, and we have one beautiful shade here that look quite similar. And you know what? And I think that this one is closer, but still not the same, because this one contains more brown, while this shade contains more gray and even purple. Next palette is going to be a Twist of Slate, the one I've shown you, and this beautiful shade. Still not exact dupe, but as an option, why not? Look at it. I think that this one, if we compare these two, they are more or less close, but here it seems that we have a bit more purpleness than here. Here we have more brown. And the last shade, Ghost Town from Colourpop. Not the same, but a little bit close. Let's swatch it right here. And as a result, we have fully different, beautiful crease shades, and they are all different. They are all not exactly the same, but just as an option, why not? Next shade is gonna be this one, and we are gonna do exactly the same. Awesome shade, lovely, quite unique, and you know what? It seems that it contains even a little bit of olive. This palette is not interested anymore. We're going to start from this one, Twist of Slate, and this beautiful shade. It's going to be quite close. Look at it. A bit more gray. And in case of pale skin, they may look actually exactly the same. This palette, no, not anymore, I think. Or next palette, Natasha Denona. Not exactly the same. This beautiful shade. Actually, it looks a little bit darker than this shade, and it's more brown, as you can see. So in some cases, these two, they again may appear quite similar, but not in all the cases. And as an option, I don't really remember which one it was. I think that actually it was the last shade I swatched closely, but you know what? Here we have a shade Truffles, and it's shimmery. Yes, it's shimmery, but it's a little bit, it reminds me a little bit. Not exactly the same, but yes, it reminds me a little bit. But these shimmers, when you start blending the shade, they will fall off. So no worries. Moving to gray. And I think that I found more or less the same shade. Again, Colourpop and this beautiful big palette. Again, it's gray with a bit of blue. So that's why they can look more or less the same. Just take a look. Probably this one contains a bit less blue than this one, but still, in some cases, they may look exactly the same. This beautiful palette, again, because we have gray shade here. And again, it's gray with blue. Look at it. It's lighter. The only thing that it's lighter. And one more gray for you from Huda Beauty. But this shade is fully different because it has different undertone and it's more pink than blue. But just in case, if you are curious, look and compare. Gray might be different. I think that these three shades were more unique and it's not that easy to find a dupe to them. And if we talk about other shades, if I talk about this black one, you can easily find something similar. Maybe it might be not that black, but as an option, lime cream, as an option, color pop as well. So you can find it more or less easily. This blue, dark blue, yes, it's doable. It's possible to find this shade, but of course you should check not basic nude eyeshadow palettes. Take a look on more colorful stories and you will be able to find this particular shade, quite similar to it. Brown. I found several similar shades, but again, you can easily find something similar because it's kind of cool tone brown as an option. Color pop. It's not going to be exactly the same. It's not that cool tone, and it's more like neutral brown, but still as an option. I want to show you something. This one is not the same. Natasha Denona, probably. I think that this shade looks quite similar, but again, not exactly the same. Let me use another finger. Look, these two quite close, but this one is more neutral, this one is more cool tone. And it was our last shade to discuss. And if you want to try a palette with quite similar shades, matte shades, try this one from Colourpop. Probably you can find some others, but I don't really have them. You know what? I've just realized that probably you can try to check Colourpop Super Shock eyeshadows and try to find more or less similar shades to these beautiful toppers, because Super Shock might be applied quite similar to this formula from Maria and to this formula from Urban Decay, Natasha Denona, just as an option. Let me know down below what you think about this palette from Maria. Do you like it or no? Are you gonna buy it or no? I hope you enjoyed this video, and if yes, don't forget to put a thumbs up and of course consider subscribing. I wish you a pleasant day and I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye bye!